All right, for more on this story live from Jerusalem, we are being joined by Alex Traiman, CEO and Jerusalem Bureau Chief of Jewish News Syndicate, JNS. He's an award-winning Israeli political commentator and syndicated columnist. Alex, thank you so much for joining us on WION. What happens when the
Thank you, Britt.
deal comes into force Thursday morning? We know that Israeli and Hamas leaders have detailed the scenario in their statements, but can you walk us through how this would play out, or the best of your knowledge? And do we know what Israeli captives will be released and who they are?
Yeah, we don't know yet which specific captives will be released. We're told that it will be women that include mothers, children, and also elderly at a pace of 12 or 13 a day over a 4-day period, during which Israel will cease its hostilities inside the Gaza Strip.
And this is a temporary ceasefire. It's been welcomed by world leaders on the one hand, but it also emboldens calls now for a complete end, a complete ceasefire, at least from Arab countries and Turkey, for example, as well. But how real is this possibility?
Well, this is one of the reasons why it was a contentious debate whether to accept the hostage deal to begin with in Israel, because Hamas desperately wanted to have a ceasefire. They've been pounded by the IDF, and they get the opportunity to regroup and to potentially rearm, while at the same time, while you see hostilities coming to a brief quiet, that there's going to be potentially a lot of diplomatic pressure on Israel not to restart the hostilities at the end of the 4-day period. And the way the deal was built, that Hamas could buy an additional day of truce by releasing an additional 10 hostages per day. So if they have access to a number of hostages, they would potentially be able to get the IDF to postpone for as many as 10 days, and that would give time for the international community to try to pressure Israel not to reinstate its hostilities. But the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister of Israel have both insisted that this is only a temporary truce, and that the greater war on Hamas will continue after the maximum 10-day period is evaporated.
And I think it will be important to see whether or not there are these drone surveillance activities that are going on around Gaza, and they were negotiating regarding that as well. And, whether the Israeli military will continue to monitor Hamas's activities, so perhaps it doesn't regroup as well. But then regarding the hostages, Hamas says that the Islamic Jihad also holds hostages. This is kind of complicating the matter as well.
Not only does Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is yet another terror faction inside the Gaza Strip, but it's even believed that civilian families that are not directly associated with Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad may be holding some of the hostages. It's not even clear that Hamas knows where all the 240 hostages are. They believe that they know where 50 of the hostages are, and those are the ones they're taking responsibility for releasing. And they've said that they might need additional time in order to locate and bring forward additional hostages. So yes, it's a very, very complex situation. The other complex part of the situation is that Israel has agreed to release Palestinian prisoners that were arrested for their roles in terror activities at a rate of 3 to 1. So Israel will potentially be releasing as many as 150 Palestinian prisoners as part of the deal. Many of them that were caught in the act of trying to harm Israeli citizens.
Yeah, such a sensitive topic, such a sensitive issue right now, and we're watching very closely. And I don't know, hopefully there is some glimmer of hope for those 50 families awaiting the release of their hostages, and this is just a first step. Alex, thank you so much for joining us on WION, and I look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Thank you for having me.